It's actually kind of an amusing story. It was actually my first day on the job at KGW, and one of the assignments I had was to go with the sports director, Doug Lemire, to video, or I keep saying video, but to film a golf tournament. And we were going down the street right after.
Jerry, could you start that over then and just
Yeah.
say film instead of video?
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting story. It was my first day on the job, and Johnny Howard, let me start over again.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting myself mixed.
No, that's fine.
It was the first day on the job, and it was kind of an interesting story. It was the first day on the job, and I was assigned to do a sports story with Doug Lemire. We were in the news car driving down the street when I noticed behind me was a police car with its lights going on and wanting to pull me over. And of course, I was extremely upset because it was the first day on the job. He pulled me over, and while I didn't notice it, Doug Lemire, the sports director, was sitting next to me and started laughing as the policeman pulled up. And I rolled down my window, and he said, "You know what you did?" And I said, "No, I don't." And then he started laughing because Doug was laughing, and it turned out it was Johnny Howard, who was a friend of Doug's prior to this incident, and so they both had a good laugh about it. Johnny was more or less a PR person, you might say, for the Portland Police Department, and he was typically assigned to be security for motion picture companies that would come up into this area and make a film. He was fascinated with the movie stars and television personalities and such, and so he would often talk about that and come up with some ideas of what he thought would make a great motion picture. One of those ideas he had was about the last great train robbery in Oregon that took place in 1923. He started talking to me and to Richard Ross about that time regarding the D'Entremont brothers and what had happened during that crime. I became very interested because it was just the story about the three brothers and such, and I thought it would also make a great documentary, if not a motion picture. Richard Ross, who was the news director at the time, also became interested, and so because of Johnny, who was the catalyst more or less for getting us interested in the D'Entremont story, got to a point where Richard Ross and I and the news director, or the station manager, decided that this too would be a great story for KGW. And because of that, it developed into something whereby it turned out to be a 1-hour show without commercial interruption that we ran on KGW back then.